Good morning, everyone. We'll start teachings at 10:30. This morning, we'll start with morning practice. Yellow book.
I need to close the door.
Can you close the door, please? Thank you.
You ready? Yeah, just open the door.
Hi.
Okay, now we start, right?
Yes.
Okay, open the playbook, page number 5. Oh, do lo do se do no ba se ge tarva da da je de ga ba da de ba se je je do se ge ma na ba ma ya da je de ba da de do ma da 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 na Yang da gua ra zo ba san je ra mo de do ba do.
Sentient beings, limitless as space, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience. May they experience happiness, be free from suffering, and swiftly may they attain precious, unsurpassed, perfectly complete enlightenment. All mother sentient beings, limitless as space, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience. May they experience happiness, be free from suffering, and swiftly may they attain precious, unsurpassed, perfectly complete enlightenment. Until I attain Buddhahood, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue. Until death, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue. From today until this time tomorrow, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue. Okay, page number 12.
Ade Yala Sovanda Dajan Dana Sanjo Mata Yuba Rinjin Simjin Jamenda Yone Sanjo Simjo Yomata Sanjo Simje Yenda Zewa Yo Yewa Kanda Yanda Namada Kane Jija Bala Lonjana Sana Lamya Yanda Dorje Yaga Goma
Great Vajradhara, Tilopa, Naropa, Marpa, Milarepa, Dharma, Lord Gampopa, Pagmodripa, and Lord Juthopa. I pray to all the Kagyu Lamas. From his guru, Saint Lingpa, he received the nectar medicine of bodhicitta and brought benefit to all sentient beings. I pray to glorious Satisha. From now until I attain enlightenment, may I also practice the three precious lineages, and through this may I perfect sublime bodhicitta and bring benefit to others with my bodhicitta. And all my lives may I never be separated from the perfect Guru. May I enjoy the glory of the Dharma, perfect the qualities of the Bhumis and paths, and quickly attain the state of Vajradhara.
Okay, now writing is sadhana. No, no more good turning order dogma jiji. So deva sende shengansa. Sugar one ela so and one door the to the and my generation. So Buddha Lion and Yoda Yasha Doye Dena So and Sandai Ninja Joa Sanjalo Mulai Namara Dobai Jibeke Para Bema Vijay Kansu Urja Ramoy Jedi So and Tara Zemba Zenjuno Raja Nama Nama Kajana Kano Ganda Neva Moranda Maja Zoja Yala Zawanda Dedoin Jem Eva Zenjuno Kano Ganda Neva Nejo Good Renana Yabla Sawanda Yandora Zeba Zenjaba Toye Jemo Zenjaba Lemdo Nebe Bobrana Gaga Jezan Gara Modela so and so Zenya Landa so oh yeah Ganda Gana Tonya Zenya Doda Vodanda Kenya Zanya Lama so and Kenya Nara Zema Zenya Mora Nange Jenje Danesa Teje Doje Ganda Samata Danje Sawan Debala Sowan Gavan Dara Sembar Senjelo Kendara Debe Nenjone Oye Yonzo Gorda Sande Yedra Lazola Zowanda Kasa Lanya Drapa Sanya Go Devaya Maya Daga Bodhana Kele Naya Drapa Jago Mazoy Gandra Nama Iswarvanda Nama Vanda Dava Kele Raja Deva Rajana Kele Omen Deva Bodhanda Kazan Dajana Nama Jana Jaya Jaya Mula Lento Dava Jaya Raya Danya Jaya Jaya So Chiro Jana Nanda Sarvanda Drabha Jaya Jaya Jaya
So
English.
page 3. Namo Guru in unelaborated space like the purity of Dharma in Western Pure Land Sukhavati to Dharmakaya Amitabha. I supplicate, bless me to realize the view of emptiness, the pure Rama victorious Buddhas where cloud wings of compassion are gathered. The eastern Buddha, I supplicate the Prince Buddha, Son, and Bodhisattva Avalokite. Bless me to develop with love, with kindness, compassion, and around that is needed. Around completely pure aspirations, pure land, glorious mountain, goddess light. I supplicate your worship. Bless me to fulfill the twofold aim. From naturally pure light, get your in the great power wherein hundreds of thousands reside, as obligating so much so down, at earth beat high about me. The stream of endless emptiness in the supreme place where 100,000 decades of symbol had removed the dark wheels of great bliss, Ratna Shri speed. I supplicate, please bless me to bring to perfection experiences and realizations of accomplishments in the place blessed by compassion. One great Teshvara, His and His Chokava, about spiritual prayers and petitions to Guru Lord Jehovah, scared for by Nirmana Kaya. I supplicate, please grant your blessings within the pure light of nature. Out of compassion to tame beings, the powerless that liberates beings through emptiness and great compassion. I supplicate all Hallelujah. Carrying the needs of schools, and bless me to fulfill the to bolding from Lord your treasure staircase to God, and sky profound path that accomplishes the Vajrapati in one lifetime. I supplicate Gurya Samaja, and secret assembly, sacred Dharma. Bless me to perfect accomplishments, the supreme place where all attainments gather like clouds massing in the sky. In the body mandala complete, with the for precious empowerments, all the peaceful and restful days of Gurya Samajam. Bless me to accomplish three kayas within the illusion like boundless of non-existent bliss emptiness. The mandala that accomplishes the four enlightened activities. I supplicate the assembly of Mother Dakinis, please bless me to gain mastery over appearances, the abundant powerful teachings of fierce and wrathful activities in the palace of unimpeded activities. I supplicate great earthbound protectors, teachings, bless us to completely pacify all outer obstacles in the Buddha fortune. Karma, pure aspirations, please. Supreme beings whose practices bring benefit to oneself and others. others, but just siblings and spiritual practitioners. I supplicate you, bless me to seize the royal fortress, stronghold of Dharma accomplishments. All you compassionate and greatly loving sources of supreme refuge, we disciples also supplicate you. Please gather cloudings of compassion, shower down your rain of blessings now at this degenerate time of the cloud. Just among the teachings for centuries being tormented by afflictions and God, with great love of your compassion, lead us to complete liberation, having given us earthly concern. I stay removed and isolated, and never losing renunciation, and disenchantment bless me and cause my qualities, experiences, realizations to us like the moon. Bless me to increase the light for my soul and others afflicted. Objects of your mercy, compassion, loving guardians, and my grace, cleanse away afflictions and ignorance. Please grant your blessings, increase our unfolding wisdom light. We supplicate you, kindest masters of the Calcul and your order, for us followers to practice to gain enlightenment of the bless us to perfect longevity and maximize all accomplishments to attain Buddha
Okay, can you read? Visualize that.
Visualize on your crown as a lotus, a sun Gana mundus, upon which are the assembly of deities of the three roots, and all the jewels, the sources of refuge. All beings with your crowns at the foremost, recite the following with respectful body, speech, and mind.
Namo Lama Kuncho Yedando Gyawa Yanze Sojela Dada Go Zanjena Gozan Geben Denge Namo Lama Kuncho Yedando Gyawa Yanze Sojela Dada Go Zanjena Gozan Gebe Jazan
I am not sent to beings. Take refuge with our three doors.
Om Rare Lala Sada Mangara Jabba Nivya Doan Doloya Dasa Nanya Jayara Korwa Done do ba go ga da sa da jen ba yo gun ja ra re do ba mo ga sa ya da do ba yo ra re la la sa sa ma ga ra sa jo ba go ne ye do ba do la ya thế giới nhân viên dễ ra kurvai đone đô bài gờ cả đà ra đà đêm bài gờ cơ nhà đà rê đô bài ngô cơ gia yon gia đô bài yo
Homage to the day which is of no ways. I offer ceaseless melody. I confess all transgressions. I rejoice in all virtues. These Buddhas I to empty. Some sorrows dash from thee. Remain in the naked free primordial purity. I dedicate all to realize awareness. May I attain three God.
yama daga doga daza toge jembe jenga do bova dona doga seme yara zanje do yama daga doga daza toge jembe jenga do bova dona doga seme yara zanje do
To into the mandala Avandogedeshwa empty samsara says I generate bodhicitta without pouring petrol.
I think we stop here almost. Need also go to question.
Hi, can you put us as translators? We have co-hosts, but the channels have disappeared.
Working on it. Thank you. Okay. Sophia, Pauline, Daniel. um, Julie. Not yet. We're just, Ina will be here in just a second and, oh, and here's Joey. Mm.
Pauline's there. Pauline.
Pauline's here, yes. Ina's coming, she's just making sure her settings were good.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
If I see, I'm using my phone. I think it works better than my computer, but I can't put it anywhere. So you don't need to see me, right?
It's nice if
Or is
we
it?
can, but it's
It's
okay.
nicer. Let's see. Maybe I can put it over there. Something like this.
Uh-huh.
Okay, very good.
You know, okay, yeah?
Ina's here, yes.
Yeah. Oh, dorje jajen dorlo noro da ma ba ma la je je ga mo ba pa mo tro pa ja wa do. Ka ju la ma na la so wa de ro ne je 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 o ran da ta da ta je ga je mo ne ta je ba. Sa la ma na la so wa da so san je dan je ja lo che san do wa san je la do. Je lang dan do wa san je la do sa lang do ba sa wa san je la do sa da na ai ke san jo wa san La de su zem dong er jin da jin 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 ya gong me wo ji er jin la su dam jin na dam jin da da dam ba na jin da za da zo okay ke ko da ina
Hello, yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
yes okay tene tomar da be chiro nam ba nam da tene da ja to le sho ba sam ma ta shi da le shes tene tene nga son dan zon ba de yang chu shi dan zon ba yin de tene ton da par son da be wa yang da ba che she ben ro go de tene san je ke tomar de wa par de wa tamar de wa to me de tene tomar de wa de la tene ne con ya po je yo go yo res
Unterschiedlich. Madame here in person and also everyone joining us online. So since we have assembled today for the sake of our gathering should become virtues in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. It is taught that the teachings of the Buddha are virtues in the beginning, middle, and end. They are virtues in the beginning because in the beginning we first must give rise to a pure intention, a good motivation.
okay tene 아니 바로는 뭐 제게 당보 춘야는 시베갑스 마나 르나나 샘나 루 근데 제거는 했더니 춘야는 랭고 봐 송여리스
Dr. Rinpoche had said when we first begin to practice the Dharma, first we should, no, the body should be inside, so secluded, and then the mind should rest within that body at ease, relaxed. And so in this way, one approaches the Dharma practice with a relaxed state of mind.
근데 다 샘나 루유 방향에 다 샘드 서르다 차다운 몽송리 근데 되게 양 마성바 샘 다네 되네 마톤다는 좀 되네 Chenrezig 냠선님 바테 테네 랑키고 셰브데 돈야 자마니 바 테네 심진 탐제 나히 산제제 고방토 베치드 테네 네 냥레스기 인삼바 다텐데제 보고 요사리스
So within that state of letting the mind rest in a natural, relaxed way, and do not allow the mind to wander outward and become distracted by things that lead to attachment, anger, or ignorance. Instead, look inward at the mind itself. So today we have gathered here to practice Chenrezig. In practicing Chenrezig, we should not simply practice for our own peace and happiness, but we should give rise to the intention, thinking, I will engage in this practice in order to bring all sentient beings to the state of Buddhahood.
테네 다다 나가솔라 르다 나다 샘섬 요레스 테낭 테네 또 샘이 바레스 르다 나니데 요보다 차데 요레스 테네 샘라 테네 게와다 메게와니 요레스 테네 테나니 예바 테네 스라라 다다 yin ni 요레스 테네 ya tate la braya
So we have a body, speech, and a mind. And of these, the mind is most important, and the body and speech are like servants. And within the mind, we are either in a virtuous or non-virtuous state. And similarly, in the outer world, we experience self and others.
Okay, then that's okay. Choose you do. Then tambo da samdo jute. Then you done yin samjo. Yin la pimba. Then David Jugin samjute. Then it's sango yoris. Jumper nato da sound of yoro.
So today, since we are here to practice the Dharma, the first thing we have to do is we have to exchange our self-centered mind for the wish to benefit others. So we should think that I'm here in order to benefit others, to create the causes that enable me to benefit others. We have to do this thought transformation deliberately, because ordinarily we generally just think of ourselves first.
Oh, then semji pane yin dong de yanda zogu san chung dos. Then semji pala then naso then koala no haji jump for the start over your rings. Then punchela, then naso da san de yoris. Da la then koala chan de yoris. Da yin sang ko yoris.
And so it is said that it is through the perfect motivation that strives for the benefit of others that we attain the state of perfect Buddhahood. And so when we cultivate the right motivation, we can free ourselves from the suffering ocean of samsara. But normally that's not what we do. Normally we think of ourselves. And this is why we continue to wander in samsara, and therefore we must we must not turn our mind toward others.
Then da semji yabo yona. Then lunga sawa tamji. Then gewan roga yoris. Semji yabo mina. Then tanhang la gewa ina. Then tungla megewa dan yona yoris.
If you have a good motivation, a sincere motivation of bodhicitta, then all actions of body and speech become virtuous. But if the motivation is impure, then even if your outer actions appear positive virtues, they still ultimately actually are non-virtuous.
Then rang sor seno tane. Then gewa rindo ta. Megewa rindo. Then sor seno tane. Taki zogo yoris. Then gewa rindo na. Ta de yoris. Megewa rindo na de panne. Then gewa lola jorgo yoris. Then gewa ta megewa chen masamba. Ma jab chenro na yin. Luma tinko no yuna. Then de yo maris. Then de sor gewa jorgo yoris. Gewa no.
So therefore we have to look at our mind continuously and examine our state of mind. Is my state of mind currently virtuous or non-virtuous? If it is virtuous, then sustain that. And if it is non-virtuous, abandon that and transform the mind into a virtuous state. And even if the mind is in a neutral state that is neither virtuous nor non-virtuous, that is more like the dull state of an animal, like a dog and so on. And so that is also not sufficient. So it's not a state we should be in. It's this kind of blank and neutral state. So if that is the state, then that should be transformed into a virtuous mind as well.
And you do just say more Tokpa Tamke Lepar Dönene, Shinda Samba Zandan Limbe Jingi Lola Dorje Sampaso to some Javananje Chimala, Songwa. Then some Sir the young song time to turn Nang the Dona, then Samba Zambo Sanjo Joda. Go home, who the son. Then Ningo Yoris, then the dead at the name Matomna, then Lelo da Navien Jingi La Soba. That tended to you now, then it to some Sanja Tamjaka Singer lot to Gumaris. Sinap Yugumaris.
Then, so then not in the text called the Vajra Ik Tantra, and there it says you should first gather your thoughts. So first allow your mind gather your thoughts, and then having gathered your thoughts, listen to the Dharma with pure and noble intention. If the mind is distracted and careless, even Vajrasattva and all the victorious ones of the 3 times cannot bestow their blessings. So that means that, so first we should gather all outward distractions inside. So we should not be distracted outwardly. And then, having gathered our thoughts, we give rise to the pure intention of bodhicitta. And with that intention, we should listen to the Dharma and giving it our full attention. If you can, if you don't listen to the Dharma in this way, if you are distracted and your motivation is unclear, then if the mind may become very lazy and dull and unmotivated. And if you listen in this way, even the Buddhas after 3 times cannot bless you, meaning that the blessings are there, but they cannot enter your mind stream.
Oh, yeah, then that's when you pick up so kind of go your listen, don't book with an dollar, rector per chuji, Rani la nepen to she, chula mejan to she, give she in la meban to she, chin yams and limbala. Ne never saw them to he. That tended to go into the Yoris. Tene Ranila Nepa, the Tane Ranila, that new moon back Nepa had the Yoris. Jewatan, Nepana, new one to song, new moon one to song, ne, then ne chunchoma is ne chimbo, not the Yoris. Then the la Torgona, then chugo Yoris. Chute, then da sama de ba yin samba goku yores then de chu da yin pin de samba de forma de gegi gevikin de go yores then gevikin songba nan yin then chu de nyam so lin ne then ne then nyumong ba ne la tor goku yores.
And then when listening to the Dharma, the way we should listen to the Dharma is explained in the Gandharva Sutra. It says in there that when listening to the Dharma, one should cultivate these 4 perceptions. You regard yourself as a patient, a sick person. you regard the teacher as a skilled physician, the Dharma as the medicine, and your practice as the treatment that leads to healing. So now we ourselves are like a sick person. We are afflicted by the illness of the afflictive emotions. And because we have been controlled by these afflictions for countless lifetimes, this is now not a minor sickness, but it is a very serious illness that binds us to suffering. And so if we want to heal from it, we need the Dharma. And the essence of that is to turn away from our self-centered mind and give rise to a wish to benefit others. And so then we must rely on a qualified teacher, which is like a doctor, a physician. And so then just as a patient follows the instructions of the doctor, we must put the teacher's instructions into practice. And if we do so, then the sickness of the afflictive emotions will gradually become healed.
Okay, tene ta tereng nimo te tene ngaso namba yongzo mixer ji nimo jeris. Tene sanje ken zeba tamje nane zo je imbaris. Tene sanje zeba la tene goyen zeba, songen zeba, togen zeba yuris. Tene sanje je songen zeba imbaris.
Today actually is a very special day for us Buddhists, for Buddhists. So it's a kind of a special a Buddhist, a sacred Buddhist day. And so there are different activities of the Buddha, and so there are mainly those of the body, speech, and the mind. And today is a special day that is related to the Buddha's enlightened activity of the speech.
Ngaso ko dong har je janso le torguna. Tene sanje ne hyane song chu. Demdr samotela tene torgo ko yures.
If we want to become free from the suffering ocean of samsara, we must rely on profound teachings of the Buddha, the teachings of a dependent origination. Through understanding the Buddha's teachings, we can attain liberation.
Tene da sanje ken zeba mambo yures. Dan zeba juun zerendo dan mambo yures. Tene zeba tamje nane tene chode tene songen zeba imbaris.
So the Buddha's activities are vast, many things that the Buddha did, and we often speak about the 12 great deeds of a Buddha. But among all of the Buddha's activities, the supreme activity is the activity of his enlightened speech.
Tene sanje ke zun tene durza simchin tamje tene koala torguna tene zuntor tene koala dortogo yo maris. Tene sanje ke sungpe dambe chu. Tela tene aso koala dongaje jamsol torgo yo de tene sanje kamsong yuris na tene dikba je yang mezahi gewa puson sobarje ranga semne yongsondo dena sanje dimba in song yuris.
And so, how did the Buddha go about liberating sentient beings from samsara. So he saw that that he cannot liberate sentient beings from samsara in manifesting, displaying various miracles. This is not going to liberate sentient beings. And so for this reason, the Buddha taught the Dharma, because through his speech, beings can actually attain liberation from the vast ocean of samsaric. And what were these words? What is the essence of the Buddha's speech? In essence, the Buddha said, do not commit any wrong, perfectly practice virtue, completely tame your own mind. This is the Buddha's teaching.
산지의 송요리스 tumnam dikpa choye mito hen droga domar sake meserve nije toba yinla pominte chuni dimba dimbe drawar jor 송요리스 tene sanje ke chirang dongha dikpa ta dongha tamje shwa chobana yin chobana yin tene choje yor maris tene rogo donga sake majo rogo donga sake meserves tene senjin tamde donga yoba tamde sawa ge yarlin tene che donga mi ba sale yo ka yan ro yo maris tene tene sanje ge ju la yo be tu ju de samba na hin je doni de me yin da la pa tene 다 포네 다 된다 세이코야 요 말이스 되네 산제가 송캬비 취데 님바니데 되네 땡샤도데 되네 랑게 그 당보 투바 삼바 공바는 냠솔롱네 냠솔라네 되네 동하를 더 보요리스 되네 대인데 되네 친이 님바띵베 도와줘스 tene sanje ke song ya ne lo kare yung pate song ya pate tene nyam so lang ne tene ma so tro bo ke yores chinye dim ba dim pe tro jers tro jers ha ko so ina
And so then, so the Buddha then taught that in the sutras that so the Buddhas cannot wash away negative actions with water. They cannot remove the suffering of beings with their hands. They cannot transfer their realization into the minds of others. They liberate beings by revealing the truth. And so the Buddha cannot wash away your negative deeds like washing it with water. So our suffering, our negativities, and so on and so forth, our obscurations cannot just simply be cleansed like dirt is washed from our body. The Buddhas cannot just wash away our negativities. And the Buddhas also cannot take sentient beings and then place them somewhere where there's no more suffering. So they also cannot do that. And also, even though the Buddhas possess love, compassion, and the realization of emptiness, they cannot just simply transfer all these enlightened qualities into the minds of others. The way Buddhas liberate beings is by teaching them the Dharma, especially of the two truths. And therefore, on our part, we must first listen to these teachings and then reflect on their meaning and then cultivate them through practice, through meditation. And then so through that, through hearing, contemplation, and meditation, and this is how we can liberate ourselves. And so when we put the Dharma into practice, beings can become liberated from suffering. And so then in that quote from the sutra, it says, as a result, when we put Dharma into practice, the nature of phenomena, the nature of reality will be revealed. So when we listen to the teachings and we reflect on them and we practice them, then we come to recognize things as they truly are. So, so then through ourselves realizing that, we attain liberation.
Okay, then that Sanjay Lata Sambatan Sevatan Ninja Yubareva. Then Sanjay Siju Yuna, then Kong Sigirva. Then also Semdo, Nato Lumando, Gangandoa. Then Sanjay Song Jabe, then Lander Lander Manorva. Turgin thing Habate, then Yamsolan, then Sanjay Compan. Tobari Mado Sanjay Keten, Don Pawanagi, he can't you some maris.
So the Buddha possesses perfect love and compassion. And therefore, if he could remove all of our suffering, he would do so. But we still experience suffering and hardship, don't we? So the Buddha has not been able to do that, even though that is, if he could, that's what he would do. And what the Buddha therefore did is to teach us what is to be adopted and what must be abandoned. So that if we put these instructions into practice, we can actually attain the state of Buddhahood. So the Buddha taught us what to do and not to do unmistakably. So the Buddha cannot simply just lift us and throw us in the Pure Land like one throws a stone somewhere. He cannot just do that. So we have to, he can reveal the path, and then we must practice that path.
Then Sanjay, you bet Jula, you bet to you about the Conrad Pojo, then I was sent someone Pushana, then I was some Sanjay John Rogova, then the didn't podium mean, then I thought that a father you is.
And then also, the Buddha has perfect realization in his mind. So if he could transfer that realization directly into the minds of sentient beings, then all beings would already be Buddhas. But this also has not happened. And as we can see, we all are still, this is not possible because we can see we are all still left, we're still left in samsara.
Okay, then Joban did some gum here. Chukun, he some Pabinello, some the tenny. Don't but jump in the garden. Tambo, Lambananda, got Lambat Jacker, your Lambananda, got down. Then Cho Neranzando, then Kawache, then Tara, Dodging the number Sanje, young do, then Chuganello, Tanganage, Gandachi in the but the tree in the tone, then your Vara Nasala, then Limba Jacker, Korma de Zambola. Chukovaris, then taking him that then is then budget law you don't do just someone that then Sanjigan Zebate, then Tatayan, Ned Yuris.
And so Lord Jigten Sumgön had said that the Buddha revealed the true nature of all phenomena. And so this is all that that the Buddha had actually done when teaching the Dharma. He just showed us how things actually are. And then, so first, so how did the Buddha display his activities in this world? The Buddha was first born in Lumbini, noble land of India at that time, and then later at like a place called the Grove of the Light, in the Forest of the Light. He entered the life of a renunciate, and then later, after having endured many hardships, at Bodh Gaya, he attained perfect enlightenment and realized the true nature of all phenomena. And then, having realized the nature of reality as it is, he then turned the wheel of Dharma to his first disciples, the five of fortunate ones, the five fortunate disciples. And so then there he taught them the teachings on the Four Noble Truths. This is when he first turned the wheel of Dharma. And so this is the sacred day that we are commemorating today. So we are commemorating this turning of the wheel of Dharma today. And then, so this was probably, this enlightened deed was probably, it took place about more than 2,500 years ago. And still, the Buddha's teachings, what he taught that time ago, that still remains with us today.
Okay, then then 안산제가 송을 추대게 되는 심기 망보라 내마야 핀도다 요리 다다야 핀도고 요리 마음 알아야 핀도고 요리 되네 주대 냐면 전부터나 된세제라 산jen도 봐 대기 말하는 다다 내가양 되네 선나 시와다 대와 바페바 되네 침산 장통 약합 장통 되니시 랑기고 많이 봐 나 파르고데 더 심지 진 고용 다다라 되니 산제게 송반의 난진 세토나 되니 빈바다 대변절 저절도 요이스
So the Buddha then gave many Dharma teachings for the benefit of countless beings, and this is what he has done that while in the past, and he continues to benefit beings in the present and will continue to benefit them in the future. And if we put the teachings into practice perfectly, we can attain enlightenment within this very lifetime. Even if we do not attain enlightenment in this life, if we practice the Dharma, it will still bring us peace and happiness and greater harmony with each other, with our families, our companions, and between countries. And that benefit is not just limited to humans. It affects everything around us, the animals, the natural environment, and so forth. So if we truly follow the Buddha's teachings, we can actually create the cause of happiness for all beings.
되니 대인데 되니 산제가 송 되니 삼바다 닌제인데 되니 삼바다 닌제 다 나서 참아라 거기 요리스 내가 저 장보에는 나서 기본 도와스 되는데 되니 닌제 내가 파지는 나서 닌제 지는別바 기본 도와스 되는데 삼바다 닌제데 거기 요리스 되니 산제가 송데 되니 삼바다 닌제 인데 되니 삼바다 닌제 gomna 되니 산제 지스 템바 송 지스 템바라고 차게 요리스
And so the Buddha's speech, the essence of the Buddha's speech, is love and compassion. And so this is what we actually need. When you treat others with love and kindness, then we all feel happy, don't we? And also, if we show compassion toward others, it brings happiness. And so, if we just look at what these feelings lead to, we can understand how we need cultivate love and compassion, and that is really the essence of the Buddha's teachings. And so, to follow the words of the Buddha is to recollect that, to remember the Buddha's teaching in this way. It means to bring love and compassion into our own practice.
tene te inde da tenen anga soga nyamlin siya te ene sama dorje tepe chu ene tabdung rena lengba ke tene sapchu tumo mayin ba sawan de ba ta tende nyamlin se de yoris tende nyamlin se de tene che madaba nama tambi pa ne dagu nama tene sapsonda ya tene ne pusan so ba wa mi chu jin ji xin kan tene tun pusan so ba ten dong ba jong din de ke chung kor kor be ti chin tene ne tu dong ba pusan so ba tene yidam de la gong ba pa Chenrezig gong ba yeah.
The practice that we are engaging in today belongs to the Vajrayana teachings of the secret mantra. It is a teaching revealed by the Derten Ratna Lingpa. It is it comes from the Guhya Samaja cycle of teachings. And to engage in this practice, we first cultivate a pure perception. So we let go of all impure perceptions and cultivate a pure perception. We see this place as a perfect place, that is the pure land of Akarnishta. And we recognize this time as the perfect time. It is a holy day of the Buddha's turning of the wheel of Dharma. And we see the teacher as perfect. And that is the Yidam deity. We meditate on the Yidam deity Chenrezig.
tene chu pusan so ba tene sama dorje tepe tene ke da chu sama de ba tene kor pusan so ba tene tepa chu la mu ba yu ba tene tepa da ninje yu ba kor pusan so ba ta tene da ores
And then there is the perfect Dharma. And the Dharma is the Vajrayana practice of the Guhya Samaja. And then there is the perfect assembly, the perfect retinue. And that is the practitioners of the Mahayana who are endowed with devotion, with faith and compassion.
okay tene te indu tene dada Chenrezig the top page number good that which is 9 page number 9
Please turn to page number 9 in the Chenrezig Sadhana.
tene te indu tene dan tene je dan he gang xi yin da wo ma xi sa de xi me xi sa de jor tene man ro ge ins de tene sama xi ge maris
So now, from here on, in the text, I'm just going to explain as well as I can what I know, and what I don't know, I will not explain. So it will not be everything.
okay te indu tene 等那现在路当明白是出的，叫些人中大的门这儿哇，用的娘多大哇养我的，讲的票我现在老啥的，等才开始学个意思。
I'm going to say a few words about this here. Having given up worldly concerns, I stay removed and isolated, never losing renunciation and disenchantment. Bless me and cause my qualities, experiences, realizations to wax like the moon.
现在路当人呢，现在人呢当借你马些把的现在是吧？等你路当为别人出的人呢，等你现在的基本满吧啊，等你现在基本等你啊，你就定个区别在人头，等你托当、国啥当当、人着、考当、不落，当这马托呢，托巴那种吧，托别多的等你是门两把种吧。讲到漂泊中吧，那等到现在的去的因素呢，等你去了热土个没脏，等你现在路当呢，他得到他就怕脚呢，等你原本是出的，等你你去中呢，等到这，让你是有个有意思。
First, it says, having given up worldly concern. So literally, it says, having given up this life. So this life here means life here means the period from the time you are born until you die. So that's this life, and then giving up this life means that you are giving up worldly concerns in this life. So it means that you do not allow all these concerns of life to control you completely. So normally we are constantly preoccupied by the 8 worldly concerns. We are we think about gaining things, so we strive for gain and for status, for a reputation, for fame, possessions, family, life, and or kind of a retinue, a kind of a surrounding of many people and so on, a circle of companions and so forth. And if we try to gain, I mean, if we have things, we try to gain more things, and then having gained many things, we try to keep those things and increase those things, and so on. So as we become consumed by all of these concerns, we are unable to practice the Dharma. So the more we think about these things, the more distracted we are, and the less opportunity we have for practicing the Dharma. So giving up this life means letting go of all of such fixations and turn toward solitude and devote oneself to practice.
那现在路当出啥人？
So do you think you can give up life?
现在路当出考过是吧？等现在路当没法对，等你俺说，他集中不拉人吧难进，等你他是被送马过有嘛的吧？对，等你现在路当没得呢，等你才懂得现在个懂得年呢，等你3年前的后那等差异有呢，等你俺说啥嘛？得有的是，他那等你本来差异跟俺们是干中呢，但。那把别找几个人的那大些个嘛的啥呢？想多， Tene shordo tene kangba dan tene damra te nyoda mabu chando ndo tene lu tang rom te ngaso chu drop to ko yo mari tene ne de yoris.
It's difficult to completely give up life or to give up worldly concerns. For example, very few people can practice like Milarepa did. And because we cannot let go of these worldly concerns, we spend our whole lives striving for the concerns of this life. And even when we come closer to death, we still continue making all kinds of plans. For example, a severely sick person, they still believe that they may not die and they make all kinds of plans. But then they die, and then all of their possessions and their house, things that they leave behind, that ends up causing a lot of trouble. And so, because we cannot release our grasping to these worldly concerns, true genuine Dharma practice is very difficult.
Chiranso paikyo ngaso lama tawa tamjia chu drop to ko yo maris tene ko send lu tang to ko yo maris.
So I'm not even just speaking about yourself. Of course, even lamas and monks actually can't, for the most part, truly practice the Dharma. Even the lamas and the monks and so on, they can't truly let go of all mundane concerns.
Ote de da ten jase la len nang andang sumpa nang song do yungin pang wen yimong ren jip jip nameng mi pa gebyor ngang kem pher rekpa tang pe chue lang ngi jip yin pa tin pa jase ya la ne yin song de song de ten ta ngene chu dam na ten de da tham je pang ne ten wen pe chu la do go go yo res wen pe chu la song sa de ten da je 가족 보면 남탄나기 예 로폭 출라데 주폭 땅라데 땅폭 샤라데 시폭 쪽동라데 등 집중 말아야 봐나이니 국산지 출레미 봐 진짜 출레미 봐다 된다 지센든 독토 고요리스.
And then in the 37 Bodhisattva practices, in the third verse, it says, by giving up negative companions, the virtuous mind naturally increases. And so therefore, a bodhisattva, it is a bodhisattva's practice to completely abandon evil companions and seclude themselves in isolated places. So if we truly wish to practice the Dhamma, then we have to let go of all the worldly concerns and practice in solitude. When we read the life stories of the great Kagyu masters of the past, we can see how their lives were totally devoted to the Dharma. In one of their quotes, it says that a yogi, a practitioner, should turn their mind toward the Dharma, and the Dharma should be turned toward an isolated cave. And within that isolated cave, one should remain alone. And remaining alone, one aims to die without any companions, so completely alone. And So this is the ultimate instruction for a genuine practitioner. They must be able to remain in solitude without dependence on any company, and without any much triggers for conceptual.
Tene melare pa kia, tene kong shen ngano mi pa tang, tene rolo dapo jang mi pa, tene sa chung mi ta ku ka song de song mi pa, tene kong ritu la, chapo nang xia ton la, tene kong ke san pa de te ke zong ro ke yin si, tene song yo wa.
Milarepa said that this is how he ideally wanted to die. He said, "I want to die alone, where there is no one next to me mourning, no one next to me crying, no one gathering around my corpse and taking my corpse. If I can die alone in this mountain retreat in my cave, and this would fulfill the aspiration of myself, this yogi."
Tene kadam koma namje, ta lopok chu la te, chupok zhang la te, zhangpok xia la te, shipok chokdong la te e song, tene sem nin samje chu le mi pa, tene chu drab song na zhangpo ri sina ke me o, mano pa, zhangpo ri na chu drab na song na sem pang pa mi pa, tene chu drab sona, ten chu drab ngang pa xia song na ya, ten yu pa mi pa, ten ra o na kadam koma na pa ka ten ra o na, ten nyale nang ne, tene trupa topa mambu yu res.
The past Kagi masters said that when we practice the Dharma, we turn the mind toward the cave or toward isolation, and we make this isolation, we turn this isolation into a poverty, and we turn this poverty, like living like a beggar. If you practice the Dharma, living like a beggar, the mind then is turned totally toward the practice and dying alone in that cave. So in that way, if we practice while living isolated and like a beggar, one remains free from any mundane concern. Then there is no disappointment or mundane expectation, and one's Dharma practice becomes genuine. And as a result, one can die in a state of practice and without any regrets. So this is how the Pagi masters have practiced, and this is how they have attained accomplishment.
Ne dan sanan do de dar tu tendo de chana sen na ta tenda mina teni pinto yo maris rela de cha pa san ji pinto yo maris rela teni da dan singe dan teni wa dan teni damra de je yo ro se rela de cha pa san pin yo maris sen na tenda ho je yo go yo res.
And then, so we must seclude ourselves to an isolated retreat. Even if you stay in a retreat in a remote mountain, if the mind has not truly turned, if we don't think in this way, then just staying in seclusion also brings little benefit. So simply living alone in the mountains is not enough. Mountain lions and leopards and foxes and many other animals, they also live in solitude in the mountains. That doesn't help them transform their mind. So if what we really need when staying in a mountain retreat is genuine intention, or it is the inner mind.
근데 다만 가서 사는 로는 근데 그거 요리스는 저는 담보 배샤제사 저는 삼강 때라 산주 저는 주간 저는 사만용노 저는 인터넷 다든지 거 요리스 저는 다든지 자기 렉सन 저는 바로는 뭐지 가르송 요리스는 저는 추마로 공 두터 살리스 근데 자기 렉선은 대충 그 요마스 두르도 요리스 오늘 sama zona tene chola trum no mo bo ta blessing ne na so tada san ro tene go yora
So nowadays, how do we practice the Dharma? So nowadays, these days, even if we go into retreat, we think about we need some money so we can pay for that, and then we need to build a retreat hut, and then we also, once we have our hut, we also need other things. We need a toilet and a washroom. And we need someone who goes shopping for us, and someone who cooks even food for us, and who washes our dishes. And someone basically who does everything for us, like a retreat servant. And so then for that, Patu Rinpoche had said that all like these activities that we have to engage in before actually practicing will actually cause us to never actually practice. So the time for true practice then actually never comes because of all these things that we need in our practice.
okay tene te da na so da tu ko yo ma yo ten te ro che ke tene ka ri sung go yo sina ta na ko da lu ang to tu tene chen na de na tene chen ta na so ro ba yo ra ten de tene che na tene pomo te na che ju tu ro ma yin ba tene te la che pin da lu san ba tene pomo na pa tene koran Chenrezig yin ba tene na ke pin be lo tene kola pin sam ke go ne tene le nga yi sam je go ne tene kola tene se ba tene po yu na te ra tam je nga ke lin cha po ro yin ba te tam je la do song dong go he yo ro te tam je jin ba yin chu ba yin san tene se de na ya tene ri chu lan ro ma ton na tene ge wa san ro ko yo ri song tene ro je ta ba song ro ko yo ri
So we can't practice in a way where we give up worldly concerns completely. And because we are unable to renounce the world, Ajahn Rinpoche always teaches us that we should practice while remaining in the world. For example, at home with our families. If you have children, you should see your daughters as Tara, your sons as Chenrezig, and then cultivate a sincere wish to benefit them, and you care for them with great love and altruism. Also, children may also be beings that with whom we have a karmic debt open, a karmic creditor, and therefore we should use it as a chance to repay these karmic debts by practicing generosity, serving them, and so forth. And so in this way, even if we cannot actually go to a mountain retreat, we can still accumulate much virtue within our ordinary family life. And that is what Gachin Rinpoche always tells us.
tene po puji tam je ka he nga ke sung na le ta de po la ko yo ri de tam je nga so pin to da yan ko yo ka ke len cha pu long da bo le song de tene po tam da de cha yan ko yo ri de tam je la da ka da ja dan cha ba dan zin ba mi ba ngang ni de tam je le pin sen de da za ma yin ba de ni ji cha ma la che pin be lo da de je nga so zongtonatani yagundowa.
There are some children that come to our family to benefit us, and then there is others who come as karmic creditors to whom we owe a karmic debt from the past. So whatever that connection may be, we should care for them with an altruistic wish to benefit them, and at the same time while remaining free from attachment, from clinging attachment, and rather try to extend this altruism toward all beings. So it would be good if we can use it as a way to cultivate an altruistic state of mind toward all.
Okay, then dakso nyumo nyingi yornala sangung chuje tuje zer leda nyumo marek sane jaishi nawa je sinje lols. Then Chenrezig da la then naso nyumo bake on the short there then nyingi be yor semjin na then humayan chike sangung chije then ze yori se talon ya then manto na sola de roches then ze sinje la pata mahin ba then nyumo ba then pasan then ishi ke nama then jeli then sinje la do so.
And then the next verse, for myself and others afflicted, objects of your mercy, compassion, loving guardians, sending light rays, cleanse away our karma, afflictions, and ignorance, and please grant your blessings, increase our unfolding wisdom light. So we are supplicating Chenrezig, who to free us, to regard our sentient beings with compassion and free us from the afflictive emotions. So we supplicate Chenrezig, saying that before, in the past, you have always looked upon sentient beings with compassion. This is how you attained awakening. And even after that, you continue to care for beings with compassion. Therefore, please look upon us with this compassion and grant your blessings. And not only that, also help us become free from the afflictive emotions and to cause the light of primordial wisdom to increase within our mind.
Okay, then sanje sinje la bala then ngasu jula desa kapkan ni je kapkan then mataban jula je ya then kapkan da toni ton desa toya ate then sanje snap chade yoris.
And through the Buddha's blessings, at times we experience moments of compassion in our mind, or at times we have a sense of impermanence in our mind, or at times we have an understanding of emptiness in our mind. And all of these moments are the Buddha's blessing.
Okay, then ngasu then jumpa ngasu then that then jeto kapo yoris then that jewa toma me ba then tela kom tela pa cha ya sungde then jeto yo maris then kap then jewa de then sanje ke sena ba de yoris.
So normally, however, we are not in those states of mind. We can't really think that way. And that is because since beginningless time in samsara, we have habituated to other tendencies, habitual tendencies. They are rooted deeply in our mind. And so for this reason, we cannot always have these moments of compassion and so on present in our minds. So, but when they do arise, then we should recognize them as the blessings of the Buddha.
Okay, then also then mandu that and then show that joke and some yes that so mangum to with the in that del casa bumbo.
So now next we are going to skip to page 16. We don't have too much time, but anyways, until from here to page 16, it's pretty clear. So now please turn to page 16.
Oh, then Jim Gombari, Jim de then just say she was a carry song to sing now. Tony Pacha Gomban, Nubi Pacha Pomar Jers. Then Tony Domani Gondana, then Jim Las of Gondana, then Uboka Pacha. Then the datum be born. Bang to go this. Joda Gina Ding, then the Gina Ding, then some of your.
And so this is the beginning of the generation stage, from which all arises from emptiness. And so regarding this, Shanti Deva says that that by habituating to emptiness, the habit, the cultivating a habit of emptiness, the habitual tendency of perceiving things to truly exist will disappear. And so by cultivating the empty nature of things, the habit, the habitual tendency of emptiness arises. And so it arises due to the, say the causes and the conditions. So when we habituate, we become accustomed to the practice of emptiness, then the habit of grasping at the true existence of things will diminish.
Okay, then Mimi don't be an annual, Podam Devu, Melon, Pemania the Denda, so Rari get Marbu. So the tate, Tombani Jingantela, Tombani, that reason part, Tony Gontona, the Nick Carry in the sea chokeoris. Tombani, the Gomatana, then come on out the na, the Nikin has a Sadon Kingdom Gongona, the Nick come out take a card, Urua. Thế mà như bà chị sao mà đông bà nhị được cho nữa đông bà nhị chỉ ngang thế lệ thế ní ta bề mà thế ní bề mà cái tên thế nó là đào tạo tại nhưng mà thế ní thế là sợ thế ní sợ để nên cho thế ní bảo bà chị này dễ thế ní sao mà được bà ta thế là chỉ con coi rồi
So it begins with from the unseen empty state centered inside a palace, expanse of rainbow light on lotus seed sun moon discs is one's own awareness as a red tree seed syllable. So everything arises from within emptiness. And so because phenomena are empty, anything is possible. Because things are empty, anything can arise. And if we do not begin the practice by meditating on emptiness, and we just try to visualize the thousand-armed, I, Chenrezig, for example, inside this house, then it will seem that like the structure of this house may seem to obstruct that huge visualization because we have not visualized or meditated on emptiness. When we begin the practice from within a state of emptiness, then there is no such a limitation. So from within that emptiness, first there appears a seed of lotus, sun and moon. And on top of that is the syllable Shri, which then transforms into the Guya or the red Chenrezig.
어때 되니 야예칸 진에서기 야예칸 상황도 야예칸 되니 군도 산신든 이게는 내가 송반하지 되니 가서 산다고 요사이스
And then the text explains how we then visualize the palace of red Chenrezig, and then how we visualize red Chenrezig himself, his color, his faces, his hands, and so forth. So then we basically just visualize exactly as it is described in the text.
오케이 되니 단 가서 힘바 토레스 힘바 되니 사비 되니 오만에 빼면 홍 변자 사마연자 자홍 방보스 되니 변자 사마야 뜻할해 홍스다 오만에 빼면 홍제나는 제네서 거 람스다 사토고요리스 변자 사마야 제나 되니 요소스 다 갖다자 Chenrezig da kin dong jin nyam de gong ne den do zi cho rang tam go yo sa ris gong ni den so man do den Chenrezig dong la gong do de den da na yi ba jin yi san ba jin dan den o ma ne pe me hong zo de den ga da te ga su 되는 제네서 거 용수도 봤어 탑탑바다 되는 benza samaya 저도 되는 다 유로지스 되는 자 홍바 홍스도 되는 히바 소페로치스 되는 설템로 설 되는 랑의 템 자게 히바 꼭 홍게 설 랑의 템 되는 방게 되는 이시바데 되는 라라 되는 뭐 마타 파르다 다 마땅바 요바 되는 호스데 되는 지인의 요바 다 된다 오사리 자홍 바홍제
Then so we visualize Chenrezig as described in the text, and so then as after the entire visualization, then we come to the mantra recitation, and then after that there is the Zahung Bamho Samaya Tishtar Len. And so what all of that means is then so we come to the mantra recitation, and then there is this Zahung Bamho. And so the way we visualize here is that during the mantra recitation, so we have the self generation and the front generation together. So we visualize ourselves and also Chenrezig in front. And then at the end, after the mantra recitation, when we come to the Zahung Bamho Samaya Tishtahlen, that part, that is then where we dissolve with that wisdom being in front. And so first, so you visualizing yourself as Chenrezig and also Chenrezig before you, right? And then so you're inviting the wisdom being, then you're asking the wisdom being to now become inseparable from you, to dissolve into you, the visualized deity. And so then, so first, as you recite Om Mani Padme Hum, but during the mantra recitation, you just hold the visualization of Chenrezig clearly in your mind. And then after that, when you come to Vajra Asamaya Tishtar Len, so you think that remain here firmly and inseparably from me. And when you say Zahung Bamho, you're actually, the first is the Zahung Bamho. so after you visualize Chenrezig in front and then you ask the crystal being to dissolve into you with Zahum Bam Hom. With Za kind of summons, like draws the deity toward you. And then Hom then causes the deity to dissolve with you. And Bam then kind of binds the deity to you inseparably. You're essentially thinking that until I attain an accomplishment, do not abandon me, but always remain united with me. And then with Ho, that expresses a wish that, and as you remain united with me, do so with joy. Be joyful as you remain inseparable with me.
Okay, then the Samaya data lens. Then it's on our homes to Yawaran, one gonna done. Chenrezig mission tan. Doing Chenrezig some Ranatan, then Yanja Dana, Chenrezig Chad Uris. Then Chenrezig Chabar thing, the Yawaran, Ranaka wood in the Uris.
So Benza Samaya Tishtahlen and then Ahum. And so here then we receive empowerment from the five Buddha families. And so here the Chenrezig visualized before you has dissolved into you. And so in this way you arise once again as Chenrezig. And that Chenrezig then becomes crowned with a crown ornament of the five Buddha families.
Okay, then Ram Chenrezig and your Sadi, then Chenrezig. Then Dani to soak a shell, then other point Jarwanju, sending Jagdebian, going down to get in Borjo, Sundukoson Pogjo, Sanam or Dala, and Zinton Sofa, and you do you the powers and
Which page are you on?
then Satan and what? Number 19. 19.
Okay.
They make Zedra, they make mantra recitation. What's on?
Okay.
Dani to so say le other point to Jawanchu, sending going to dig that Jadan, not to get in Bologondo, then took on la so ye sure, think it taken tala, then oh man, a payment用的故也从口，但是讲多。
So we're on page 19 at the visualization for mantra recitation. The Shri at my heart center radiates light rays and makes offerings to the Buddha. So you have not become Chenrezig. You arise in a form of Chenrezig, and you visualize at your heart the syllable Shri, surrounded by the Om Mani Padme Hum mantra, and the mantra, this mantra garland, is arranged in counterclockwise way, but it is turning clockwise.
Okay, then Hindu in a yes, that and the Yorite, then soy and hard, then not the sun debate, then there were content hours, then him pass, then it not tele, not in Covatella, never him pass. Then it not le. Özür tonatını topçu sanje tamjela chuba bro senjin tamjela draba janwa then lege bitele draba sibatela then jabe phona ji patavs then yibatela then özür de podu then sama then Baba Chenrezig your songs and some Chenrezig Nimba, Gratan Chenrezig Imba, then Sama Chenrezig and Johnson, then Poma Sanjek Davs, then the Chins, Attend to on those.
And so then the way we move through practicing with the mantra garland is referred to as the four branches of approach and accomplishment. And so the first one is the approach, and here one first visualizes the mantra garland surrounding the seed syllable at the heart, arranged like the stars, like a string of stars around the moon. This is the approach. And then second is to, after you visualize the garland, it begins to turn. And that's the close approach. And then third is the accomplishment. And so here then light rays radiate from the mantra garland and they make offerings to the Buddhas of the 10 directions and purify the obscurations of sentient beings and accomplish the four activities. That's the accomplishment. And that is like sending forth the messengers of the Buddhas. And then fourth is the greater accomplishment, and that is as the light rays then touch all beings, they all become Chenrezig, the wisdom being. All beings become Chenrezig, and all sounds become the sound of Chenrezig's mantra. And the entire world reverberates with mantra like the humming of a beehive. And that is the great accomplishment.
Okay.
La gamma kashe chila nga do kore diri ya suzu chuni bara ni di chila nga su yanke tsona chori.
Okay, that can go in the You have to go, right?
I have to go in like 5 minutes, but I have time. We can do again.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that ha then na har shibas then omane peme hong then papa jin is个整个有ris then ha jin kor的shibas na dela then jin kor chang的有ris chu ba chang的有ris then ha then zhe ba jiang zhou有ris then ha了then我这个头个有ris then ha then then zhe zhou then 기재왕라 래 탐변도 그 요리스 then 오만에 빼면 홍수를 때는 생각팀 뭐 자팀 뭐 주인 행본다고 차대 요리스 then 상견에 해서요 나서 가든지
And so the mantra garland has many benefits that come from the mantra garland, because the mantra garland itself is the deity. And each Om Mani Padme Hum mantra creates the form of Chenrezig, and it creates the mandala. The mandala of Chenrezig is fully established within the mantra, and all the offerings are also complete within the mantra. And the mantra also purifies all obscurations, and through the mantra we attain all siddhis, all accomplishments. We attain through sending out the light rays and gathering them back from the mantra garland, we accomplished the four enlightened activities and all the other accomplishments. So the six-syllable mantra really possesses extraordinarily precious qualities, and it is full of great blessings. And the six-syllable mantra truly is the essence of the Dharma. So for now, we will stop here.
Okay, thank you everyone. Pauline, Joy, who's
Daniel,
Daniel,
Anna Sophia,
Anna Sophia, Ina Roboche. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ina said she have go.
Yeah. Joey too, so that's good.
Okay, now we are Doma offering. Doma offering finished. Then we eat lunch.
Oh. Page 13 in the Red Chenrezig. Page 13.
Benda Amardo, Benda Hana Hana Ome Soba Vayana Sarva Dharma Soba Keda English. Which
From the empty state arises a jewel which transforms into a precious vessel. Inside it is an om which transforms into a torma that becomes nectar.
Sabare vare edam balinda gaga gaye gaye oye goga Sabare vare edam balinda gaga gaye gaye oye loga bala sabare edam balinda gaga gaye gaye ome loga Sabare vara argam bade pepe debe naloge gende nevede khabda bade zavo.
Never Nice to all down place treasures and things all religious brother take me never so your virtue. All this love like gratitude to all knowledge place to be. All this only awake. Ning glory strive to bear all these. Please, God, Viva has been morning round things Still pure, is it Lord without ending mountains when your patience how satisfied. To their
Okay. Here. Lunch break. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We'll be back at 2. Thank you, all of our translators and friends that joined online.
They are okay?
Yeah.
Hmm.